today's video, we will be discussing what it's like driving for a small carrier, and we'll also be covering the pros and cons, and is it still worth it in 2024?
Perfect.
So I'm in my truck getting ready to grab this trailer to take up to Buffalo. It's a multi-stop finishing off in New Jersey. And I've been asked lately what it's like driving for a small carrier and not a larger carrier. And is it still worth it? The carrier I drive for is a smaller size carrier. We're not the largest. We have about 175 trucks or so in our fleet, and we're still growing at a slower pace. We mainly run refrigerated freight, but we do have a couple dry vans for one dedicated customer. As we're growing, we are starting to go out west. We used to just stay around the East Coast to the Midwest Coast near Texas up to Minnesota. I particularly like to stay around the East Coast, and I go as far as Iowa from time to time. I'm home every single weekend, but that's a schedule I decide to stay on. But I average 2,400 miles a week. Companies that are considered small tend to not have enough information on YouTube or other sources, and trying to do the research before you go to drive for them is quite difficult, which is why I'm making this video. But let's dive into the pros and cons for driving for a smaller carrier. The first pro is smaller carriers that have been operating for 40 or so years tend to have a good customer base. The customers that we have at the company that I drive for, our customers range from hauling dairy products to meat products, but we still have to use the spot market for our backhauls. Pro number two is smaller carriers tend to care more about their drivers and know that they're not just a number. The company I drive for, when I'm in the yard, if the owner sees me, or if I'm in the office and he sees me, he will stop what he's doing, come shake my hand, know me by my first name, which is Jared, and he will ask me, how's it going? If there's anything that he could do to make it easier for me as a driver. And not enough companies out there that I know that the owner's going to stop what he's doing just to go check up on their driver. The third pro is we tend to have newer trucks in our fleet, which could range from the newer T680s to the newer Cascadias. And we do have a few Peterbilts, but those are for the team drivers. When I had an issue with my 2021 T680 where it kept dying on me in negative 6-degree weather in Iowa in the dead middle of winter, called them up. The newest truck that they had at the time, which was a 2024 Cascadia, bells and whistles, they was able to give me that one just so I didn't have to deal with any more waking up in negative 6-degree weather. Now I drive a 2025 Freightliner Cascadia. It had less than 30,000 miles when they gave it to me. It does have Apple CarPlay, touchscreen stereo, which is pretty nice. And the fourth pro is small carriers can have more than one schedule, so you're not stuck on a schedule that you don't like being out for a month or so at a time and then only getting a couple days off. The company I drive for, we have a few pay plans. I'm on the 34-hour reset. I go out for a week. If I leave out on Sunday, I'm back either Friday or Saturday. And then I'll take a 34-hour reset at home, then be rolling again, which that works for me. If I wanted to change it, I can. I can go out for 2 weeks at a time, or a month at a time, or whatever. Like, they can make it work for me. They even have a 7 on 7 off plan, which I'm on the waiting list for that one, because I do want to be home more for my kids if possible. But I don't see that happening, just because that's like one schedule that everybody wants, because once a year you get like 3 weeks off if you use your vacation. Pro number 5 is some carriers can pay their drivers competitively. I make 67 cents a mile, and I get stop pay for any additional stops. Like if I'm hauling milk to Costco's, that's like 3 or 4 stops most of the time. That's $20 extra after the first stop, which tend to equals out if you have more than one run like that a week. I get detention, I get layover. Layover's like $150 if you're waiting over 8 hours. I will be posting a video going over my pay stubs. You can find that in the description. It will list the monthly gross and the monthly net from the last few months. And then some carriers that are small, they're trying to grow, and they're starting their own CDL school because they need drivers. Like the company I drive for, that's how I got my CDLs. I went to the carrier I drive for a few weeks, went over the road with an over-the-road trainer, and now I've been solo for going on 2 years now. The contract that I signed was for 100,000 miles, but I was able to knock it out in 9 months. That's a 6 Pro. The first con is the health benefits tend to cost more. The larger carriers are able to get good rates just because they have a lot of employees / drivers. Unlike the smaller carriers, they don't have as many employees / drivers, so they have to pretty much take what they can get, which doesn't really help the drivers, because if you're paying for a family, I was paying up to $1,000 a month until I got rid of it and went to the marketplace to find something cheaper. The second con is, since I am on the 34-hour reset plan, I don't really have much time to plan to go do something on my home time efficiently. I have to do it on a whim, which I'm okay with. But that's up to you, like if you're okay doing that. The third con is smaller carriers tend to have less terminals. We have 2. We have one located in Massillon, Ohio, which is where I park my truck at, which is right down the road from Canton, Ohio. And if you're a football fan, that's where the NFL Hall of Fame is. And then we have one more, which is in Millersburg, Ohio, where our training facility is. And they're not like the mega carriers out there that have fitness centers, shops, cafeterias. Like, ours is not set up that way. Fourth con is there's not much information online or YouTube if you're trying to see if the smaller carrier is right for you or not. So the research is a lot harder. If you are considering driving for a smaller carrier or going through a smaller carrier CDL program, please let me know. In my opinion, it was probably the best thing I could have done. Before getting my CDL, my wife and I, we were struggling, and now we're no longer struggling. She's actually a stay-at-home mom now. If this video has helped you in any way, please let me know. Remember, hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.